all that happened, he has now admitted and he said he's taking responsibility for that disgraceful behavior of his. However, he rejects the allegation that he was carrying he was carrying alcohol in his flask. He said it was just water and all that. And now going a viral video of his and his apology.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies of the press here present. My name is Olasukomi Inde Marshall, also known as K1 the Ultimate. I am here to make clarification of the incident that happened on the 5th of August 2025 at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport local wing while about to board aircraft from Abuja to Lagos. The incident is highly regrettable because I have contributed the better part of my life in the past 50 years to the growth and development of Nigeria, my country, art and culture, both in and out of the country. I've been a good ambassador of this great nation, in and out, in very many ways. Somebody like me should not be found in such incidents. I accept responsibility and appealing to Mr. President, the country, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the FAAN, the NCAA, and my fans across the globe to please pardon my behavior. Number one, I passed through 2 checkposts and the content of my cup was screened. Need to say I have any content in the cup. Until I got to the lounge while awaiting the boarding of the aircraft, I pour water in it because of my health situation. I need to be sipping water because I'm dehydrated, as recommended by doctor to me. Like I said, I take full responsibility of all incidents. Once again, I seek forgiveness from Mr. President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also my father and father of the nation, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the pilot, the airline staff, passengers, and above all, my fans across the globe, my family, for the incident. My love for the country is unshakable. I am still the darling ambassador of our nation, and I'll continue to carry the banner of this great country everywhere all my life. Thank you once again.
ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ní àbọ̀ ń ṣe èrè ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ní àbọ̀ ń ṣe èrè ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ní àbọ̀ ń ṣe èrè.
So they had to edit that part. God knows how many times they had to do the cut and join. Apologize to Mr. President. Eh?
ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí ọ̀ ń ṣeré ní àbọ̀ ń ṣe èrè.
That was him when he first wrote this lengthy disclaimer where he said, they said the pilots, they've apologized to him. And at the same time, the airline offered him a private jet to fly him to Lagos. So now they've called him. Maybe they've called him from the Asshole Rock and say, no, that thing is not good though. Go and do an apology video and post it like that. We'll take care of the rest. It will blow over. Anyway, Kwam1, good luck with that. Okay. I'm talking about good luck. I don't know if I should call this a luck or not. For the terrorists, it may be a luck. And sometimes they say luck and destiny kind of have similarity for those who are very special or so in that field. Nigerians have been bleeding. It was because the Boko Haram then they were slaughtering Nigerians, and then they said they were taking territories. So that was what brought APC, Egbekegbe, because it was like, when did Nigeria turn to this? How did Nigeria get to this? If not, if they don't kick out good luck Egbere Jolantan, Nigeria will sink, oh, Nigeria will die, oh, Nigeria will, yada. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years after that, hundreds of thousands of Nigerians have been killed by these terrorists, while millions have been displaced on a steady. But we still have some animals in human skins that goes on TV to explain to people why it wasn't a bad idea to rehabilitate repentant terrorists. And I'm like, what value is that going to add to your own national security if you have released over 300,000 repentant terrorists, and you've, according to them, they have, rehabilitated over 100,000. I'm like, didn't they leave any intel? Did they not give any intel about how they were trained, where they were trained? Those who were supplying them weapons and, information that could help neutralize these 100,000 fighters repented and cost the country hundreds of billions of naira with no single intel to dislodge the terrorists and reduce the terrorism in Nigeria. I have never seen anything like that or heard anything like that in my life, except in that contraption. Operation Safe Corridor. Let the terrorists go if they can swear by the Holy Quran that they won't do it again. How can a government run a policy in counterterrorism on that? Say, just hold the Quran. Okay, what if I want to hold the Bible? Would you still let me go? No. They even had to take Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Bible away from him for demanding for a referendum. They took his, his medical access. They took that away from him. They took his family visit away from him. They took his his right to practice his own religion, his faith. They took that away from him. Or a government, that same government is running a policy, the policy where terrorists who have slaughtered, killed, raped, destroy things, lives, we just hold the Quran and say, I won't do it again. And that's it. Go to the rehabilitation camp. Here is a former spokesperson for the Nigerian army speaking on the matter.
Now, this issue has become a matter of great discuss and opposing opinions as well, considering the fact that many are still not very settled on the idea that any Boko Haram member, former or not, should be reintegrated into society, especially as a result of the damage done. Whereas with some other people, there is belief that maybe this could be a way to salvage the insecurity situation in Nigeria. Before we begin to even talk about whether or not this Operation Safe Corridor works, where do you stand on the rehabilitation of former Boko Haram members into society?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the program. And I can understand the concern by, Nigerians, especially well-meaning Nigerians, about this kind of initiative. But what I want you to understand is that we have to look at the circumstances that brought about some of these people being, in the Boko Haram terrorists or insurgent groups, so to speak. Some of them were, conscripted, some of them were forced. If you could recall, way back at the onset of it, the village, they attack villages and communities. They cut away valuables as well as able-bodied men and women, and they subject them to so many things. Some of them, they were made to fight, some were foot soldiers, and so on. Some of them were performing menial duties against their wills and all the rest. So when you look at it from that perspective, that it is not everybody that subscribed to to, the religious belief of the Boko Haram or the ideology, so to speak. They were there against their will. So due to concerted effort and, of course, appeal, they were made to understand that really there is life beyond the Boko Haram insurgency, and some of them decided to voluntarily lay down their arms or to come back. To come out. I could remember way back, I was even in the service in Burma and all the rest. Hence, that brought about the initiative of the Operation Safe Corridor that is being carried out. And so far, about 3,200 have passed through the program, and with less than 1% recidivism, of the activities. And that goes a long way to speak volume about the success or otherwise of the program. However, just like any other thing, I think the impediment is that there is a communication gap. Communication gap in the sense that when you are confronted with security challenges of this magnitude, kinetic approach alone cannot solve the problem. Therefore, you have to have a combination of the carrot and stick. And part of this combination is what we are witnessing with the Operation Safe Corridor. Now, if you look at it, insurgency everywhere and terrorism, conflicts generally, hardly you resolve them, through, forceful means. Sometimes we end up at a negotiating table and all the rest of them. And we are having a unique way in the sense that in Nigeria we have an unprecedented number of these fighters that decided to renounce violence and voluntarily lay down their arms. And in fact, a part of the international convention, you cannot do, you cannot harm them. So, but I can understand the need for justice and all the rest. Hence, this process. So you should distinguish between those that are really hardcore, those that believe in the ideology of Boko Haram, and those that were conscripted. And those that were conscripted are those people that are undergoing this program thus far. And it's a rigorous program that it is not just the military, it's a combination of so many other stakeholders being brought on board as, medicals, development experts, clergies, and so on. And there are procedures and, of course, buy-in from the communities and what have you. And now they have even gone away, a way further, apart from integration and all the rest. But after integration, what next? Because some of them, they were unemployed. Some of them, they were having their own trades and all the rest of them. And I can understand even now the international tropical agriculture is coming in the country rep is coming to see how best they can also enhance their agricultural skill and all the rest. So it's a welcome development. However, a lot needs to be done in the sense that there is need to conscientize Nigerian society about the benefits of that kind of program, because you cannot kill or
ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún ṣe lálìkìyàmọ ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí. ẹni òfò.
He had the Olori Brukuman. Anyway, the news that just came in now is that, Omoyele Sowore has now been released by the illegal police IG, just as we are on this program. So I'll give you more on that after this, okay? Did you hear that? That's what they are doing on national TV, toasting people to normalize it. Some of these people, they were kidnapped. They were made to fight and kill by the terrorists. Who decided and who determined that? A court? A panel of a judicial panel of inquiry? Psychologists? Who did that? And why is it not working? Why is it that it hasn't worked? And who is also tracking the repentant terrorist? Nobody. But it's on TV that they should go and conscientize Nigerians. That is, they should try and convince you that it's a good idea. You see, don't you see all these people that are killing you and kidnapping you? They are not, some of them, it's not for their intention. Or how did you know that? Because they've pleaded their case in a way that when Bokwari was there, it was to industrialize the terrorism business in Nigeria. And they did. Not only that did they make their people poorer in northern Nigeria, they made other Nigerians from the southern part of Nigeria poorer too, when tens, hundreds of millions and billions of naira were taken from them as ransoms. In 8 years, the people moved from Boko Haram to Boko Haram ISWAP, ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2, Lakurawa, then Fulani terrorists, all joined in a year. And Nigeria was being, the Nigerians were being bled of over 100 billion naira annually. It became a multi-billion-dollar business now. That almost ransom. State governments were paying ransom. State governors were doing promo. Yeah, they were doing promo. It was okay. Jangebe boys kidnapped. How many are they? 215. Okay, 215. Then the next thing, the terrorists will say, our ransom is 500 million naira for all of them. Then the state government will begin negotiation and all that. They will release money to the terrorists. The terrorists will release the children. They will buy the new clothes for the children. All that exercise, the state have lost over 2 billion. They will say it's for security, national security. They will now tell others to emulate that governor, because the way he handled that security is very, very excellent. And the Kaduna governors, they do that one most. It's very good. Before you know it, Kaduna, Zamfara, where else again? And they will quickly make clothes for the children. And you'll be like, they always have this standby tailor inside the Aso Rock that can make hundreds of clothing, uniform, within hours. But would you ever believe that somebody will go on national TV to try to convince Nigerians that it was actually a good idea to rehabilitate terrorists who haven't actually been put through the trial, that will help the state to understand their mind, how it works, and every other thing. The data that you will have to use to crush them. How did you manage to have over 300,000 repentant terrorists? And none of them could give an intel at all on how to end the terrorism. Let that Mugu finish.
Coward, because under normal circumstances, especially in the northern part, among the Muslims, anytime somebody says Salaam Alaikum, of course you are obliged to assist and support him. But this time around, you have to look at him or her twice. Just to tell you, so a lot of damage has been done. And so that it is understandable. And so there is so much need that need to be done to, communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, permit me to interject at this point in time for the brevity of time. But
all right,
some would say that what you're postulating is against the principles of justice, equity, and good conscience. Yeah. Because when you look at the fabric of our society and the laws that do govern us, be it the penal or the criminal code, there is a Latin maxim that says, ignoratum non excusat. That means the ignorance of the law is not an excuse for you not to be punished by the law. And aiding and abetting is also a massive crime under law. So if you say that because these people were victims or they were victims of situation, we've had people who have also been victims of situation face the full wrath of the law. If we make excuses for them, then we should make excuses for everyone probably who has been a victim of situations, regardless of their complicity in any crime. What do you make of this?
Well, you see, we are saying almost the same thing. Before you interjected, I was talking about, communication gap, the issue for justice and all the rest. And if you are going to talk about that, you look at the extant legislations about, the anti-terrorism acts and all the rest of them. When you look at it, at the same time, you also look at this peculiar circumstances. Now, for crying out loud, this one you have just said, if, for instance, any one of the Chibok girls that have been abducted over decades now is, rescued or voluntarily decide to come out, for instance. So do you talk about justice in respect of such people?
But if she picks up an arm,
exactly.
if she picks up an arm,
it's a different situation.
If she picks up an arm and is part of the
yeah,
process,
so what? No,
does that exonerate her from the crimes against humanity?
And aside from that, we're talking about Boko Haram terrorists that carried